Hello, everybody. Welcome to the trailer screening room. My name is Brandon Jones. I am joined by Kyle Bosman.
Hello.
And Daniel Bloodworth, who's filling in for Ryan Stevens this week.
Hey.
And if you got 20 or so minutes, let's all go to the trailers. It's another week, another batch of trailers. I gotta say, I'm addicted. I found out when we first started doing the show, I would look on the site and I would download videos from the site. But I found our depository of rendered media on our Xsan. And it's great. Every morning I just jump in there and I can just grab quick times right out of it and screen stuff immediately. Because of this easy access to trailers, I found a bunch of stuff that we should watch this week. Kind of a slow week for trailers. Been kind of a slow month or two for video games in general. But
I don't know, man. Wednesday was nuts.
Wednesday was nuts for trailers?
Wednesday.
What was your favorite trailer on Wednesday?
I mean, it wasn't just trailers. It was just like everything. But
oh, that's when Watch Dogs came out, yeah?
Yeah, Watch Dogs. Yeah, they had that 9-minute gameplay walkthrough. As well as our preview, and then yeah, lots of things cool.
Well, that's what's tricky.
Just flooded.
That's what's tricky about walkthroughs is sometimes those aren't. We had a great Evolve had a great gameplay footage this week, but not necessarily a trailer, just like extended gameplay. So it's always kind of a fine line. I always find when there's trailers like ESRB at the beginning and then trailer and then like pre-order information at the end, like then that's a trailer. Or if it's literally just wall-to-wall gameplay, like that's probably a gameplay clip. So kind of tough to make that distinction. I do have 3 trailers. We're going to watch them. Let's get started on the first one, which is finally a look at Dragon Age, which I dearly loved the first 2 games. I thought the story in the first Dragon Age was great, but the gameplay was kind of lacking, and then they completely reversed that for the second game.
This shot, the burning face shot, it looks a little goofy to me.
Yeah, not a fan of
burning. It takes me out of the... First of all, I feel like this first few shots are trying to evoke the Dark Souls feel, and then to have that followed up by this like goofy, googly-eyed burning face.
Well, it's all in gameplay, and it definitely looks good, but it definitely looks like gameplay. So we're not looking at a real burning skeleton, but a video game burning skeleton. You excited about Dragon Age at all, Kyle?
I think the faces are an improvement. I think they look better than what we've seen from Dragon Age and Mass Effect. You know, they're more convincing people, which I think will help the game for sure. And they show off a lot of their effects, a lot of like their little particle effects and spells. Just, you know, they want to advertise next gen. They want to get that across, and I think that in some of these environments totally does.
Yeah, I mean, this game looks way better than I'd expect it to look, just from an artistic perspective. The dwarf guy that they show, I mean, he looks like a relatable Han Solo rogue type character. You know what I mean? Like, and so much of past Dragon Age games, people felt a little stiff. So definitely more interested in this from artistic perspective than I have ever been in a Dragon Age game.
Definitely looks like the franchise is opening up. I remember one of the complaints people had in Dragon Age 2 was that you're just kind of warping to different districts and hallways and stuff, and you didn't really get these kind of wide open vistas that people love to explore in games. It seems like a lot of RPGs are kind of going in that direction. The Witcher is much more open for the 3rd installment.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're moving more and more towards their dream for The Witcher. But yeah, the other thing about this though, even though I said all that about the artistic perspective, I can't dig the main guy's helmet. Bugs the heck out of me.
Hold on, what do you dislike about
these
it?
wings coming down in front of his face, it just looks so goofy.
I think it looks cool.
It's a dragon helmet. I've seen weirder stuff in Warcraft for sure.
I don't know. Yeah, it's hard for me to take him seriously. Anytime he looks at me, it's like, okay.
But that is you, right? I assume that's actually the player.
Yes. And even though we revisit some characters, she's from previous games. The hunter, the rifleman is from previous games. The dwarf. Yeah, you were brand new, which I guess is the way that Dragon Age does things. Like, you've come out of nowhere. You are suddenly, even though we've never talked about you at all through 2 whole games, you are suddenly the coolest person in the world. Which is kind of a bummer. Mass Effect has that like tie to Commander Shepard, where it is a little rough for a 3rd game, to kind of revisit this world, but yet you're playing a person that you've never heard of before.
There's definitely that divide in RPGs. There's people that they want to create their own character, and they define every bit about that and play this role that they create. And then there's the other side of it where it's like, well, your character is who your character is, and you're playing through their story. So 2 very different perspectives on how RPGs should be done at their core.
I would give it an 8. What do you think, Kyle?
I want to give it a really high score. I want to give it like a 9, but I'm going to deduct 0.5 points for pre-order now to get the Flames of the Inquisition pack. Without even describing what Flames of the Inquisition pack is.
That too. Yeah, I feel like if that's gotta be in there, like, don't put it on there with your title. Give the title that beat to, like, just be on its own, and then you can do your stupid crap afterwards.
Respect your game.
That beat, I think, is very important. A lot of trailers are very abrupt. I hate it when music just kind of fades out. It's like, end the song. For God's sake, come on. Like, you got someone to write music for your trailer. Like, have them end it.
Yeah, well, actually, I felt like this had a couple of weird transitions in that, too, that, like, they shift momentum kind of jarringly. So I would probably be more 7.8 or something like that, a little lower.
Well, I'll say for something like that, put a period at the end of that. 7.8. Lock it in.
And yours was 8.5, just for clarity?
Yeah. Would have been a 9 without that pre-order. Because I'm successfully hyped for this game. I think it looks great.
It almost seems like the pre-order text is like the subtitle of Inquisition. It's like Dragon Age Inquisition pre-order.
Some of this stuff, saying that it's in-game, I'm not entirely sold on.
Blood.
Yeah.
Getting controversial.
I want to see this thing in action. I'm not entirely sold that this is what it's going to look like when I'm playing it. So.
Well, there's one way to find out. We'll see when the game comes out.
Close your eyes, you'll be here soon.
And now to fill in the wacky trailer category, Omori, is that how you pronounce this?
Yeah.
Omori? What's the emphasis on? Omori or Omori?
I mean, technically there shouldn't be any emphasis. It would all be pretty much so.
Omori.
Yeah.
Okay, Omori.
Yeah, this is wacky and I love it. I kind of went through a mental process with this trailer this week. For those of you that aren't familiar with this is a trailer for a Kickstarter for an RPG that is blowing up. I think already met its marker or whatever you call it, and is blowing past it. Certainly got a lot of popularity very quickly, and is a very bizarre trailer. And I liked it and appreciated it for being weird, but there was that part of my brain that still wanted to figure out, okay, how does this game work? What is this game going to be? Why did they sell it this way? Is that the socks? Like, does any of this have any kind of like secret meaning?
Right.
And now at the end of the week, after I've seen it several times, I just don't care anymore. I think it's a really fun trailer. I don't need it to be anything more than what it is. But I was initially very perplexed. What do you think, Kyle?
This is one of my favorite trailers we've ever talked about on the show. Just in how different it is. This is, it's evocative. It's like, hey, whoa, there are interesting things going on. It is a different video game trailer than we're used to seeing. It's not abiding by anyone's weird rules of what a video game trailer should be. And it's interesting. It's fun to watch the whole thing. Interesting music. We can't hear it now, but it is like really, really. I'm into it. I paused to see each of what those things were.
Oh, did you read all of them?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. It's kind of tantalizing in that way that, like, you see these, like, one-frame flashes of things, and you see this backwards text, and, like, you want to take that moment and see what's happening here.
I think this trailer is slightly terrifying, which it seems
it's
cute
scary,
and boisterous, and there are just a lot of very disturbing images. There's 3 or 4 things that I absolutely have no idea what I'm looking at.
Picture of a cake you've ever seen, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty
Suddenly
weird.
there's a knife in it. Yeah, it's scary.
I also think it's interesting as you were talking about the pronunciation at the beginning, like the vocals in this, like, it's clearly not like a Japanese person singing these vocals. It's clearly like somebody that is getting to know Japanese and not necessarily pronouncing it wrong, but you hear their accent very clearly.
That's funny.
They're certainly not accomplished singers. They're all kind of just like shouting the song.
Yeah.
Sounds like a bunch of people like drunk at a bar, just like singing about their favorite game. Do we need gameplay? Could this trailer have been done for any Japanese game ever made?
Oh, whoa, no way. What do you mean?
No, I feel like I've definitely seen Japanese games with these kind of trailers, like Discipline. It kind of has that vibe to it. I feel like they've definitely been tuned into that for a while.
Well, could this have been a trailer for a fighting game? Could this have been a trailer for a puzzle game, for a shooter? Does this have to be a like Pokemon? Kind of looks like Mother a little bit.
It looks like Earthbound to me. Yeah.
To me, I think it's selling a mystery aspect of this game. I assume from watching the trailer that there is some sort of sense of discovery about what the heck is going on within the game itself. Not just with the trailer. What the heck is going on with this trailer? What the heck is going on with this game? And I think that's the purpose of this.
Yeah, to me it feels like there's a very, and that fits in with the vocals as well. There's a very personal angle to this. There's a sense of, somebody feels out of place and is struggling to deal with life. Like here he's blue and everyone else is pink, and then at some point he kind of changes colors. That's
kind of waiting for the birthday cake to blow out and die and melt. I think I definitely get a vibe of like life is good, but sometimes life can just kind of be super happy and blow past you while you're not really in tune with everyone else. And then where are you then? Like what does that mean? I'm thinking like a 9.3 or like a 9.4. But it's like, what does that 0.6 mean? Like, what am I really criticizing? I don't want to give it a 10 because I don't think this is a perfect trailer because I had some issues with it when I first saw it. But I don't really know. I don't know what to make of this thing. Maybe that's what omori means in Japanese, is what the heck is going on.
Always go with your gut. I mean, you don't have to always justify a score.
Then 9.4. All trailers should try to grab people like this and make them think, what's happening? What am I looking at? I have to play this game just to solve that, so I'll stop having nightmares about it.
9.1. For a lot of the same reasons, I don't know why it's a 9.1 and not higher, because it is one of my favorite trailers, but it's not like the best trailer. Do you know? It is, there are better trailers out there, but this is so good, so interesting.
Ever since we started the show, I always make note when someone comes into my office and says, ooh, have you seen this? Right. It's like, oh, okay.
This is definitely one that people were passing around. Like, I saw that thumbnail around a lot.
But Ryan Stevens was the first one to make sure that I did not miss this trailer. What is your score, Mr. Bloodworth?
I'll go with a 9, I guess, yeah.
And finally, one of the trailers we're going to talk about specifically was Skylanders. I don't mean to pimp Skylanders. I am excited about Trap Team. I think it's clever. I was not super thrilled about Skylanders, but ended up playing Swap Force, and now I'm in love with the franchise. I think the game's really fun. I'm a big Infinity fan, but I think gameplay-wise, they just tend to have they do wackier stuff. It's more mini-game based. Mm-hmm. The gameplay changes up more often in Skylanders. So I appreciate Skylanders. I think it's a great franchise. I'm excited for the future of it. I hope this game does very well. What the hell is going on in this trailer? This trailer's so bizarre that...
Well, it's trying to pull a Chronicles of Narnia thing, right? It's like you're in the old man's, secret room and finding all the artifacts. But I think the thing that
Traptanium portal does not project. I love the little safety things in the corner, because we talked about that previously on the show.
The thing that kicks me out of it is that these kids don't know what Skylanders are. Mm-hmm. They find a bunch of Skylanders and they're like, what are these? I'm like, come on, really?
Maybe this happened before the original Skylanders came out, and then they were captured and kidnapped.
Sure.
And where's this weird uncle of theirs? What room are they in? Their uncle or grandpa or something?
It's their uncle. It's their uncle's room.
Yeah, why does he have... Like, this? They don't fit in with the rest of the things.
So do Skylanders only want to talk to children, or did the uncle not care enough to help the trap people? Like, why was this just waiting there, and he's like, I don't play Skylanders anymore. And they're sitting there, like, trapped in this case on his desk, screaming to be let out.
Well, if we really
so
want
they
to
can
get
go
into this,
save Skyland.
He's got some really interesting, like, math on his chalkboard. If we really want to get into the plot of the uncle, I assume he has bad intentions.
I think he's abusive towards the Skylanders. Yeah. I think when he ever brings them out, he terrifies them. And so finally these kids come along and they feel like, okay, I can talk to these kids.
Yes.
I just think they opened a Pandora's box of weirdness with this commercial that they didn't mean to. And just seems weird. If this came out for the first Skylanders, I would totally understand. Like, hey, let's shoot something with kids. Let's have them discover it and welcome to Skyland. And that'll just kind of open up the whole concept. And then we can just get to the point every time we release later games because, the Pandora's box is open. You get it. But to kind of start with this, when this trailer first started out, I was 10 seconds into it, and I was like, okay, no way are we talking about this trailer on the show. And then by the time it was over, I was like, you bet we're talking about this. Because this just, to say nothing for the concept, it sounds interesting, but...
Yeah, the only thing that kind of feels weird about the concept is the crystal things. They almost feel like a cheap way of, it's like, oh, well, we won't make figures for these characters, but we just still have to buy things.
Yeah, you have to buy a whole nother portal, too, which is rough. A whole nother base to put these on. So it's not just these figures that are going to take up more space. Now you need to, push aside this thing and move that speaker in front of your television to make room for this other portal thing.
Oh, yeah, I think Activision said they want to make a new portal every year as well.
So just nothing but portals.
Because, like,
you got to put the figure someplace else, because in front of your TV, it's just going to be...
They at least said that they're compatible with all the old figures, though.
They are, but so the first year they did giants, and so now you got to buy a new portal that fits the giants, and the next one was
okay.
You got to buy a new portal that'll fit.
So you don't need two portals, you just need this new portal, and it functions. It does everything.
And then you throw out your old
portal.
Okay,
that's not as bad. just thinking of like stacking all your guitars from Rock Band in the corner of your room.
But I think Blood had a good point. I mean, look how cool Wolfgang is. I want that figure. I don't want him in a crystal. Like, I want to have that guy.
Skylanders is cool. You can sell Skylanders very well, but talk to us. We don't need these weird intermediary kids. this event that's taking place in Skyland. Let's just cut to that. Let's just all of a sudden one day in Skyland, there's a weird explosion or some seismic event or some big windstorm that came through and knocked the Skylanders or these trap team guys out of their prison or whatever. And then we get into it. It's like, are these kids going to be in the game? Like, is every Skylanders announcement now going to have these two weird kids?
Oh, I hope not.
Yeah, I doubt
So
it.
are we just leaving them? Are these kids not important? I'm getting a strong never-ending story vibe from this.
Well, it is actually the same kid. He looks like he took everything downstairs that is now playing PlayStation 4. So it looks like he's stopped the imagination and has just accepted that this is a video game.
Just weird. I mean,
there it is. So you can see Skyland in his little chart over there.
Yeah, it's all laid out.
Actually, I would. You know what? I'm flipping stances. I would love if they try to continue this weird storyline.
Like into the game, like you get Trap Team and they're like on the cover of the box art, like these two weird kids. Also, lots of money was spent on this. We had to hire these two kids. We had to write this script. We had to do this compositing shot of not only the animation, but the animation in with the live action. Why on earth spend all of that money when you can just animate it? Like, when you can just go straight to the stuff. Like, why do you feel this desperate need to, like, connect it back to the kids? Like, the kids already love it, and they're not going to love it because other kids are, oh, wow, look at the look on his face when he holds that thing in his hands. I want to hold that. It's like, just show the thing. And to have all the little excerpts at the bottom are just hilarious. Like, when he opens up all of the things, is it these? And like all the multicolored things that light up, does not light up.
Yeah.
Like, why have them light up then? Why even, distract kids with anything that could possibly be less than what they would want this to be? So much work for something that I don't think. This is a 4. I mean, this is just weird.
Dude.
Especially for the announcement. It just, off on the wrong foot here.
So you know what? It's like
and I am excited, which is bizarre. I'm giving it a low score, but I am excited for the game.
That's not bizarre. No, we're writing trailers here. Actually, I like it. I think the purpose of showing kids is having them go, whoa, and then like, it's like, it's the dumb little Spielberg effect where you see someone else having this reaction to this thing that you sort of had this reaction to this thing. They want kids to be enamored by the magic of Skylanders more than just, oh, you're playing a video game. They want it to be something more. So I get that. 7.5. I think it pulls off what it's trying to do, but it's still real dumb.
I guess I'll go kind of in between there. I'll probably give it like a 6. I think like the whole live action concept and everything is kind of dumb, but at the same time they do kind of sell me on the idea of like just that mechanic of like trapping a character. It seems fun. So I think by the end of the trailer it still sort of wins you over, even if you're not that into Skylanders. So
those are our 3 trailers for the week. I have 3 more suggestions of trailers you should check out. Lords of the Fallen got a trailer that we gave a massive 4 that, speaking of something that's trying to imitate Dark Souls, just kind of like sets up this battle, and
it's really interesting to see them like actually like repeat as like the characters retrying, but you don't have any kind of like HUD or anything on the screen. It's as if the character is doing it himself.
And kind of speaks to the difficulty of the game. It's kind of like a game being like, we're super tough, And so they got to put their money where their mouth is. Curious to see if that game gets any traction. Mr. Bloodworth brought a new Project Cars trailer to my attention. Was there anything specific you wanted to say about that?
Well, I think it's interesting, because car trailers, there's only so much you can show, but it's interesting to see the beats of how that plays out in terms of the drama with the music and everything. It's like you start off with all these like static cars just sitting there and like sweeping around looking at the cars themselves, and then they start racing and you see all these different shots of them racing, and then they do the slow-mo thing, and then they go back to racing again, and then boom, logo, release date. So
I love that. I love a good long sweeping camera shot over a car driving fast out in the mountains somewhere. Like Gran Turismo has always been really good for that. And Rise of the Incarnates got a very weird trailer. Definitely seems like a big announcement, and there is a lot of fun and to be had and personality that you can get from the trailer. But I think the trailer makes a crucial mistake, which is they show gameplay from the exact scene that they're showing in CG. So you have this like direct comparison to be like, oh, the game doesn't look as good as that. Whereas if you had CG to show something just kind of random or abstract, or the characters in a different environment, and then jump to kind of a different style of gameplay, the transition will be a little less obvious or
well, the
disruptive.
other thing that bugs me too is that like it opens so seriously, so condescending to humanity, and then it feels kind of goofy by the end. So there's just like this disconnect.
It's kind of like Sunset Overdrive. Is that what that game's called?
There's a game called that. I don't know which game.
What's the shooter game that? Just kind of seems like that doesn't take itself seriously. So it's weird for Rise of Incarnates. It also makes me think of Rise of the Imperfects, that crappy EA Marvel game.
Same name.
So,
yeah. This game to me looks like a game no one actually wanted to make. That's what it feels like. It's like, who had told you to make this?
Who told you?
Yeah.
Give me their number. I want to call and make them responsible. Amori sounds like the trailer of the week, folks. It's kind of bizarre.
Yeah.
Bizarre. No, it's bizarre. That's what I'm gonna use that word. Ryan Stevens, he's like, just it doesn't have to be one of the three, but just make sure that you mention it. And when I thought about it, I'm like, that's gonna be trailer of the week.
Yeah.
Just because it stands out. It's not something that we're really gonna get into technically. Oh, that edit was so great, or oh, the style is so good. It's just mashing crayons. But it's just, what do you do if it's just a random week out of the year, and how do you grab someone's attention? And that's a good way to do it. So if you haven't checked out that trailer, please do. And if you want some more, let's all go to the trailers. Stay tuned after the break. We're going to play a couple of ads, because that's how we do things on GT. But then we are going to watch a trailer in its entirety. So if you want to check that out, you can check it out after the break. If you're sick of us and you want to check out other videos on GT, then you can do so. Thank you very much, Mr. Bloodworth.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bosman.
No problem.
And thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you next week.